Gemini, the challenge of spiritual loneliness and why you feel so misunderstood. Gemini, you are fluent in conversations that skip like stones across a bright lake. Ideas sparking ideas, laughter braiding strangers into friends. And yet, when the room quiets and everyone goes home, a different weather rolls in, a thin, precise ache that no playlist can drown. It is not regular loneliness. It is something subtler, a sense that your inner world is too spacious to fit inside most exchanges, that your questions arrive from a sky most people don't look up to see. You are wired for bridges. But where's the bridge to you? Spiritual loneliness for a Gemini is not the absence of people. It is the absence of resonance, the feeling that your wonder, your doubts, your wild tending to speak a dialect few seem to understand. This conversation is for that ache, not to scold it into silence, but to hold it until it softens into clarity. We will explore why your unique wire makes you feel unseen, how to stop translating yourself into smaller syllables, and how to build a life where you are met, intellectually, emotionally, soulfully. If this lands, share the light, like, subscribe, or pass it on to another twin wandering the same night. Gate 1. Gemini, your spiritual loneliness begins where your gifts first bloomed. You were born under Mercury, messenger between worlds, designed to cross borders, mind to heart, person to person, seen to unseen. As a child, your curiosity sprinted ahead of the room. You asked questions that were bigger than your age. You noticed patterns between faith and science, dreams and breakfast. If the adults around you met those questions with impatience, platitudes, or jokes, your nervous system did its math. It's safer to sparkle than to go deep. It's safer to translate than to speak in my native tongue. This is how misunderstood begins, not as drama, but as clever survival. You learn to keep your cosmic questions private, serving people the versions of you they could digest. The crowd laughed. Your spirit dimmed one wood at a time. Your dual nature compounded the ache. One twin wants connection that feels like a constellation, where each star is named and none are forced to touch. The other twin craves a single, quiet gaze that doesn't need your fireworks to stay. When neither need is met, you feel split and hungry. Add to this your speed. Thoughts that arrive in braids, intuitions that rise before proof. You try to slow your speech to meet the room and end up editing your soul. The result is a paradox. You are surrounded and starving, celebrated and unseen. This loneliness is spiritual because it lives at the level of meaning. You do not simply want company. You want a shared north. You don't merely want attention. You want attunement. And you don't only want answers. You want better questions held without hurry. When these are scarce, your system reaches for distractions that mimic connection. Busier calendars, brighter banter, broader networks. None of it satisfies for long, because the hunger is not for more voices. It's for echo. Begin by telling the truth. I am not hard to love. I am deep to meet. Place a hand on your heart and say it out loud. Then name the specific flavors of resonance you miss. Is it intellectual play without ego? Is it spiritual talk without certainty? Is it vulnerability without performance? Precision matters. The universe and your own choices can only conspire around specificity. Write a page titled, How My Spirit Feels Seen, and list moments, not theories. The friend who let silence be a sentence. The teacher who said, I don't know, like a prayer. The lover who asked, what does wonder feel like in your body? Your loneliness wants you to remember proofs that you are meetable. Once you remember, you can start building where it's already been true. Gate 2. To step out of spiritual loneliness. Gemini, you must unlearn the habit of translating yourself down. You are a born communicator, which means you can make anything sound simple. But spiritual complexity, your inner cosmos, was never meant to be simplified into a party trick. Start by practicing unedited speech in low-stakes spaces. With one safe person, try first draft honesty. Talk before your inner editor arrives. Say the messy, the mystical, the I can't prove this, but... Notice the reflex to soften it with a joke or a fact. Resist it. Let your breath be your period. When you end a sentence, don't fill the gap. Let the other person come to you. This is how you stop doing all the relational commuting. Craft resonance rituals that call your people in. Host a weekly tea where the only rule is that questions are more welcome than opinions. Begin with a poem or a line from a book that opened a door in you. Then ask a single generous prompt. What are you currently outgrowing? Or what is a belief that's turning into a wonder? Gemini thrives when conversation has rails. The ritual protects depth from drift and gives your loneliness a place to be met on purpose, not by accident. Practice right-size sharing. You don't owe strangers your mysticism, and you don't owe beloveds your silence. Offer chapters that match the container. In a new friendship, share one layered truth and see how they hold it before offering the next. In an old friendship that's used to your sparkle, preface your depth. I'm practicing letting you see more of the unformatted stuff. Can we try? When you invite others into your practice rather than springing it on them, you give them a chance to rise. Some will, some won't. Your job is not to make everyone able. It is to make yourself available where it's safe. Build a vocabulary for subtle states, so you don't abandon them mid-sentence. Try words like thrum, wideness, quiet awe, soft urgency, bright sad. Gemini often gets stuck between theory and confession. Sensation bridges both. When we spoke about purpose, my chest went wide and my hands warmed. This grounds a mystical in mammal truth. The more you can name what your body knows, the less you'll argue what your mind must prove. Finally, give yourself translation Sabbaths. Choose windows, an evening a week, a morning on weekends, where you refuse to narrate your interior to anyone. You simply be with it. Walk, read, pray, listen. Stare at a plant until it starts to look back. This reteaches your system that your experience is valid before it is communicable. Paradoxically, when you stop forcing your inner world into words, the right words return. Gate 3. Gemini, the nervous system of an air sign, can confuse stimulation with belonging. Spiritual loneliness spikes when your inputs go up and your intimacy goes down. We need to reset your ecology. Design days that honor both your need for novelty and your need for depth. Think of your attention like a tide. A few hours of high tide for exploration, a few of low tide for integration. High tide might be research rabbit holes, new music, a class. Low tide is journaling, walking without headphones, letting one idea land in the body. If you only surf high tide, you collect waves you never ride. Depth is not the enemy of curiosity. It is its home. Create a resonant stack morning, 20 gentle minutes that tell your spirit, you are not alone in here. Sip something warm. Read 8 lines that make your brain ring. Put 1 line in your pocket to carry. Breathe in for 4, out for 6, while thinking of someone, living or gone, whose mind feels like kin. Whisper their name. Spiritual companionship can include the not present and the not physical. Write a 3-sentence note to your future self at night and reply to it in the morning. You will begin to experience what your loneliness forgot. You are accompanied by yourself across time. Build a small altar to your questions. A stone from place you felt held. A photo of one thinker who blesses your doubt. A feather or page or seashell. Light a candle when you study, create, or pray. Ritual anchors the air element, reminding Mercury's child that ideas are allowed to have bodies. Each time you light the wick, say, I give my questions a chair at the table. Question seated, stop pacing. You'll feel the room calm. Curate your inputs. Unfollow the clever cynic who makes faith feel foolish and the loud mystic who refuses nuance. Subscribe to sources that can hold the middle, where science bows to awe and spirituality bows to humility. Choose fewer, better voices and read them slowly. Your mind does not need more content. It needs terraces where ideas can grow roots and bear fruit. Schedule integration walks, just to notice what the week has planted. Hold one thought like a river stone. Turn it without needing to solve it. You are not a machine for answers. You are a field for meaning. Fields need seasons. Don't neglect your body's doorways into the sacred. Hike, dance, stretch, hum. Hum especially long, simple tones that vibrate your chest. Humming stimulates the vagus nerve and tends to the part of loneliness that is physiological, not philosophical. When the body is soothed, the story often shifts from no one understands me to I am available to be understood. The former is a wall, the latter is a window. Gate 4, let's talk relationships. The mirrors where your spiritual loneliness is either soothed or sharpened. Many Geminis learned to keep people hooked with brightness. It works until the night you crave reverence and can't find a door. Begin to audition for your own life differently. Notice who asks follow-ups when you say something earnest. Notice who enjoys your quiet. Notice who lights up not just at your ideas, but at your pauses. These are your resonance bearers. Feed those bonds. It's not elitism. It's ecology. Orchids don't thrive in deserts. Pines don't thrive in swamps. Neither does your spirit thrive in rooms that only want your wit. Practice depth bids. They're small invitations that test for shared altitude. What's something you used to believe that doesn't fit anymore? What's the kindest thing doubt ever did for you? If a person bats the ball back with curiosity instead of defense, escalate the depth a notch next time. If they volley jokes over your bid, make a note. Good for play, not for prayer. Sorting is kindness to you and to them. If you're partnered, co-create a chapel hour each week. No devices, soft light, 2 cups of something warm. Bring 1 question each and 1 artifact, a paragraph, a song, a memory. Speak in turns. Listen all the way. End with a small blessing for the week. May we notice the helpers. May we choose slowness over spectacle. Many Geminis think they need a different partner when, in truth, they need a different ritual. Depth rarely appears without an appointment. In friendships, normalize silent companionship. Spiritual loneliness isn't always cured by big talk. Sometimes it dissolves in shared stillness, side-by-side reading, a drive with no playlist, cloud watching on a blanket. When someone can abide your wordless presence, your body relearns that you are lovable beyond performance. The next time you reach for a story to keep them near, try reaching for their hand. Hands carry a theology of their own. And yes, some ties will thin as you stop translating. Let them. You are not abandoning anyone. You are honoring everyone by refusing to barter the most sacred parts of you for applause. Bless what has been. Keep a small thank you ledger where you record 1 gift each fading connection gave. A laugh, a ride, a summer, a sentence. Gratitude metabolizes endings, so they don't calcify into cynicism. You are allowed to keep soft eyes for people who cannot meet you at your depth. Soft eyes do not require a soft spine. Gate 5. Spiritual loneliness becomes spiritual leadership when you stop waiting to be found and start building what you sought. You, Mercury's child, can convene rooms where resonance is a default. Host a monthly salon with a theme like wonder, grief, attention, myth. Set gentle agreements. We listen more than we fix. We cite what changes us. We leave with 1 sentence to carry. Or begin a letter circle, exchanging handwritten pages about the biggest honest thing you're wrestling with. The deliberate pace turns spectacle into sacrament. Let your work, whatever it is, become a conduit. Teachers can weave on to curricula. Engineers can ask usability to serve dignity. Marketers can refuse manipulative stories. Baristas can make the counter a confessional of kindness. Spiritual companionship is not limited to churches, studios, or meditation halls. It is any human space where truth can safely exhale. Your loneliness was a map. Now it's a mission. Anchor your practice with vows you can keep. Try 3. I vow to speak 1 sentence of unpolished truth each day. I vow to create 1 small space each week where questions are welcome. I vow to treat my curiosity like a candle, not a floodlight. Revisit your vows each month. Adjust with tenderness. Vows are living things. Let them breathe. Honor the invisible allies who kept you company when rooms could not. Authors, ancestors, artists, the night itself. Make a lineage page. I come from minds that, and finish the sentence 10 ways. Wonder, doubt, sing, repair, reconcile. Tacked above a desk. This becomes a belonging you can touch on days when the world feels tone deaf. You are not alone. You are accompanied by a choir. Some choirs sing from bookshelves. Finally, keep wonder close and measurable. Schedule a star look, a museum hour, a walk where you name 5 shades of green, a morning where you reread a paragraph until it rearranges your breathing. Loneliness shrinks in the presence of the vast. When the vast is intimate, the cosmos is not out there. It is a conversation between your chest and the sky. You will find slowly and then suddenly, that the ache you try to cure by adding more people eases when you add more presence. From that presence, the right people appear, not as saviors, but as fellow travelers who recognize the light you stop hiding. Gemini, feeling misunderstood has never meant you are ununderstandable. It has meant you are vast. You learn to make yourself portable, pocket-sized enough for rooms that could not hold your weather. Today you retire the shrink wrap. You are not difficult. You are detailed. You are not too much. You are multitudes. Spiritual loneliness taught you what you need to feel met. Questions without hurry, intimacy without performance, wonder without mockery, silence without suspicion. Now you build those rooms. For yourself first, then for those with whom you'll share a table. You'll still have nights when the old ache taps the glass. When it does, place your palm there and say, I hear you and I'm here. Open your notebook. Light your candle. Text a friend who loves your pauses. Step out under a piece of sky. Let the world meet you where you actually live. The bridge you wanted was never far. It was waiting for you to stop crossing away from yourself. If this spoke to something wordless in you, leave a line in the comments. What does resonance feel like in your body? And if you want more rooms like this, like and subscribe. We'll keep building, one honest question, one shared silence, one bright mercy at a time.